Well, Honorable Paulson Lutaamaguzi tonight is my guest, and the issue at hand it is the continued revelations and people's view about the Chinese contractors who were allocated 47 billion shillings to compensate uh, affected persons along the roads that are under construction. Thanks for joining me, Honorable.
Welcome, Mr. Sibasi.
Well, Honorable, what do you make of these Chinese?
The Chinese you're talking about are proxies of some black Africans who are here, especially politicians. These are vehicles of looting. You're aware that most of these Chinese come here, they come here in the guise of investors, but most of the time we wonder because they use government money to do their investments. I understand that any investor who wants to invest in a certain country, whether locally or international, is supposed to have some credible capital which he can use to do some kind of investments. But most of these Chinese you're seeing here are just vehicles of looting. They are used by politicians here in this country.
Wasn't it shocking that the Uganda government ended up giving such a huge sums of money, billions of shillings, to people who do not have capital investment, whose financial stability was wanting?
That's not the first kind of looting this country is experiencing for a moment. We have had a lot of illegal transfers of money in so many projects. You remember the Katosi project. And of course, as you were, under project implementation, you can carry on the workers as you do the diligence. But I told you that these Chinese you're seeing here are just working for some politicians here. They are just used to loot the billions of money you're seeing they are taking out of the country. Because as you were, the government has a lot of intelligence here. You cannot just transfer such huge sums of money without the knowledge of government. Every day there are people here who are looming to see how much you put on the accounts, how much withdraw. So it shouldn't come as a surprise that these guys transferred the money without the knowledge of government. The government was aware, but you should ask me a question. Why is it that they never acted? They never acted because some of these people, especially politicians in this government, are part of the Chinese. Actually, the Chinese are just the employees of some Africans. Yeah, you know, when you are a native here, to do any kind of business, you go through vigorous kind of research, and then they have to scrutinize you. They have to know how much capital you have. They have to know where is the originality of the capital you're going to use, and how much have you, how much or when, where have you ever invested. So you can't tell me that these huge sums of money just came from the blue and then they were transferred without the knowledge of government. They were aware, but only that it was bad luck to them that this time people started there. I don't know whether it was got through the whistleblower or it was the knowledge of some few people in the country. You know, where you are well aware that as much as you may have a box of rotten tomatoes, there are some which can be at least useful for cooking. So in the government we have a lot of corrupt people, but at least there are those who are still interested in the way business are run in this country.
There are people on the committee who are afraid because I do understand one of the MP was telling me that I don't want to be seen by President Museveni as fighting his Chinese investors. But all said and done, what is your interpretation of this behavior whereby money was advanced to them, instead of doing the job it was supposed to do, these Chinese withdrew the money from a special account that was supposed to be monitored by the Ugandan government and themselves as contractors, and they took it to the Bank of China and some foreign banks here, opened up fixed deposit accounts and started trading in it.
That kind of act shows that we have a lot of mafias in this government. It is very hard to fight mafias because you don't know where they start and where they end. And don't be surprised that the same people you have heard talking a lot in the committee will go silent. Why? You cannot fight mafias. Mafias are everywhere. The Chinese you just seeing on the surface are just proxies. Don't think that some members will stand their word. We have so many people here who don't walk, they talk. You see them trying to be very serious, more especially when they are doing committee work. But when you go deeper, silently, and you analyze the impact of their standing, you realize that it's almost nothing. We've had a lot of scandals here, billions of money being stolen each and every day. Actually, today they have even increased from billions to trillions. You heard of the UNRWA money, the 4 trillions. Have you ever seen any action being taken by government? No, it's impossible. Why? Mafias are everywhere. Mafias are in the courts. You can't win them from the courts. Mafias are in the police. You can't win them from the police. Even mafias are in the same committee where you saw members being interrogated. Don't think that anything much will be done. The best they can do is to expose them. After exposing them, actually that's their best. They do some exposure. After exposing the looters, that is the end. So don't be surprised that the exposition of these looters, because for me I call them looters, for you call them corrupt people.
Are you seeing this catchphrase of President Museveni, of Kisanja Hakuna Mchezo, mopping up the house in which he's operating in, or it's going to be the opposite of it?
President Museveni is the head of this government. He's the chief accounting officer of this government. And every time you come out to touch on his corrupt men, he will yell, please leave ABCD. And I told you that in this government, they act in a way that some, as it is written in the Animal Farm book, that all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. Even that same applies to the looters. All looters are equal before the law, but some are more
equal than the
others before the law. So we have looters here who cannot be imprisoned. You know them. Even if you try to imprison them, the cases die there and then. You go to the police today.
Are you trying to say that now Ugandans have nowhere to run to? Has now the situation turned to be a vicious circle that even those that Ugandans are supposed to run to help them, they are already now also caught up within the mess, and even those that they are bringing from outside to save the situation are also entangled within the already vicious circle of confusion?
There is no way you can imprison them. Why? There are some people here who have a lot of powers, bigger than the institutional powers. Whichever institution you try to take them to be disciplined, look at IGG's office. It is blunt. It can't do anything. Look at the police, which is full of relatives. They can't do anything. Go to the army. They can't do anything. You come to Parliament. Every day people are bashing Parliament that they are doing nothing. What can we do? The system, actually, the white people call it a negation of looters. In the police, they are looting. In the army, they are looting. In the Parliament, they are looting. All the system, because if you make some individuals to be bigger than the institutions they hate, then that's the end of the country. Today, is there an institution standing? It is totally impossible. It is some individuals who talk. However much we try to talk about these so-called Chinese, I told you that the word Chinese investor is used as a phrase to hide something. The speed at which they give these people money should have been the speed at which they give hospitals money. But you go to the hospitals, the doctors will tell you that we gave in our budget, but it takes a lot of time. They scrutinize it each and every day. But the moment the Chinese come, just today, tomorrow they will be given money. Why? Because Chinese are workers. For example, you heard of these Chinese who are mining sand in Rwera. Don't think that they're exporting it to China. Don't think that that is mere sand. That the Chinese are mining sand from Rwera and taking it to China. That's not mere sand. There is something in the sand which the public hasn't yet known. For you are just seeing someone packing sacks of sand. That is not mere sand. Just because people look at things myopically, there is no fool who can come from China using all the sums of the huge sums of dollars and then comes to where to mine sand.
You are saying that the problem is not with the people in government. The problem is with the Ugandans.
The same leaders we have today are the image of what we are. The leaders we have in the government are the image of what we are. For example, if you want to know the nature of a certain constituency, you don't need to go there. Look at their leader. Look at their leader and you get to know that that one is a reflection of where he comes from.
It's a doomed constituency.
Yeah, of course. It's just the same. When you go outside, foreigners don't need to come to Uganda. They look at our leader and say, that's the nature of Uganda. Because, as I told you, we voted more of the same. And it is what we are going to have. In Uganda, they call it a chikurekure. When you see a cow producing a goat, they call it chikurekure. So you cannot have chikurekure leadership. A cow produces a cow in the order of nature. So you cannot see a cow producing a goat or a goat producing a cow. We call it chikurekure. So in the politics, we cannot have chikurekure politics. We are having what we sowed. When you plant the banana, the banana stem, you put it there. You have to expect a bunch of banana from it. But when you go there and you find the yams on the banana stem, then you call it chikurekure. So that's what Ugandans expect.
Well, thanks, Honorable Tamaguzi, for joining us on this interaction.